This is the QCWWY fly reel, and it is the cheapest fly reel on Amazon. And it cost just over $11 shipped. And today, I'm here to review it. You heard that right. This is a fully functional, I think, fly reel that cost under $12 delivered to my door. For those of you out there that think fly fishing is too expensive of a sport, this reel is here to change your mind. At $12, even kids with an allowance can afford this reel. But is it a good reel? That's the question that we're here to answer. And to do that, we're going to put this through the same 5 factors that we do every reel, and we're going to start with the drag. And this $12 fly reel does in fact have a drag. It is not an overly strong drag. In fact, when you crank this down all the way, which is fairly hard to do, but we'll get to that later, it probably puts out maybe a maximum of about 1 or 2 pounds of drag strength. It's enough that you're not going to be free spooling, and honestly, probably enough for most freshwater fishing situations, but it is not a lot of drag. So if you're looking for drag, this is only slightly better than a click pawl reel in that perspective. In terms of adjustability, you've got roughly 1.5 turns of adjustability, which is also not bad. Although with as little drag as it's got, you really don't even need that much. It's really more of an on, slightly on, all the way on, because even your really thin tippet won't be broken by this drag. But that said, it's a good range, and a range that, frankly, I really like. And there are some high-end reels out there that have too many or too few turns of adjustability. And as you might expect, this drag is not sealed. But I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that because I think that's one of the differences that you're going to see between this reel and some higher-priced production reels. So let's take off this spool. And as you take it off, you'll notice that it is, well, a little bit loose here. This plate sort of turns around and doesn't really provide much confidence, shall we say, at all. And it is definitely, absolutely not a sealed drag. And as far as I can tell, this reel works by tightening this plate against what is probably another plate here and providing some friction there, which is honestly probably not that different from what you see on a lot of reels, but they just do it with an internal mechanism. So if you were to drop this reel on the sand, let's say, sand could very easily get into this drag and probably totally ruin it. Similarly, I think if this sees water or even moisture, there's a good chance that you'll get some rust in here, and this is unlikely to be a drag that really lasts. That said, if you're really good about taking care of things and are good about your maintenance, I think you might be okay. Or you might be okay for a trip or two. Who knows? I haven't actually tried to fish this reel. And that's pretty much it for the drag, and definitely one of the downsides of this reel. So let's talk about the spool. And the spool on this reel is okay. There are worse spools out there. We've got a max spool diameter of 3.06 inches, a width that is honestly a little bit on the wide side of 1.1 inches, and an arbor size of 2.2 inches. And I would definitely call this a sort of mid-arbor reel. It's also wide, but honestly, it's sort of okay. It's going to give you a retrieval rate of about 7.5 inches per turn, or 160 or so turns for your 100-foot fly line, which is, again, not great, definitely more of a mid-arbor. And it's also going to hold about 100 yards of backing with that 5-weight. I'd probably err on the conservative side and put 75 or 80, but that's, again, going to be enough for most freshwater fishing situations, which is clearly what this is designed for. I like the spool on this reel a lot more than I like the drag. While this is in no way designed for an angler who's seeking the maximum performance, this spool is totally okay. And there are plenty of classic reels out there that have worse spools and cost hundreds of dollars. So for 12 bucks, this is gonna get you on the water, and it picks up fly line in a reasonable way, and I think that's okay. So I'm gonna give it sort of a thumbs up on the spool, if you will. And up next is the weight, and this reel comes in at a surprisingly reasonable 5.94 ounces. That's gonna be a little bit heavier than your average 5-weight reel, but not too much heavier. I would say reels these days tend to average about 5 ounces, with the really, really light reels being under 4 ounces. So this is definitely a heavy 5-weight reel, but not so heavy that you couldn't use it. In fact, we've been reviewing a lot of Euro nymphing reels that allow you to add weight to get to a weight that is heavier than this reel. So if you didn't care about a full cage, you could buy this $12 reel and go Euro nymphing. Before we continue, I wanted to let you know about Trident Travel, our new destination travel service where you'll get our expert planning and guidance at no additional cost. That means no credit card fees, no booking fees, and for a limited time, you'll even earn Trident rewards on your travel bookings. So for every trip you book, you'll be earning valuable points that you can use towards free tackle here at Trident. Recently, we've had some clients go on some absolutely fantastic trips, like bone fishing in Belize, permit fishing in Mexico, and Arctic char fishing in Iceland. So if you're thinking about taking a fly fishing trip, Trident Travel is the way to do it. We've got a ton of great destinations, excellent service, and even more destinations being added every month. Check us out at tridentflyfishing.com/travel. Up next is the sound, and well, let's take a listen. As you can hear, this is a fully silent retrieve, and it has a fairly muted outgoing sound as well. Definitely the sound on this reel leaves a lot to be desired, and I think if you're somebody that's really looking for that sound and that feedback, you're not gonna find it here. So let's just move on to the ergonomics section. And the ergonomics on this reel are okay. The drag knob is honestly not very good, and it's just a little bit too short, not really easy to grip, but you can get it sort of all the way down, I think. Definitely not a great drag knob here. The handle, on the other hand, is okay. It's a little bit shorter than I'd like, but I've reviewed better reels that also have short handles, so that one is sort of okay. And as a bonus, it's got an easy spool release. So this $12 reel releases a spool better, easier, faster than a $1,000 Siegler. So you're probably wondering at this point, having heard this review, what are the downsides of buying this $12 reel? Well, I think first and foremost, there is obviously going to be zero warranty with the reel. So there is no company standing behind it. I've never heard of QCWWY, but I think we can assume that it is a direct from China brand, and it's probably not going to be around next week, or maybe it's already not around when this review comes out. But there are going to be other reels from other factories that use this same reel design or very similar to it. You know, reels like Max Sketch and things like that, though I haven't actually researched it. So warranty is definitely going to be a downside. If you beat up this reel, you're just going to have to buy another one, which I think is okay. While it's a little bit hard to see, this reel arrived at my door with some scratches in the finish. So it's got some nicks and some dings in it, and it really feels like a factory second reel for something like a Max Catch. It is absolutely not pretty. But again, for 12 bucks, I think I'll take that. After a trout trip or two, it's probably going to have those dings on it anyway. And Frankly, so are all of the reels that don't have an anodized finish. This is just a painted metal reel, which is interesting that it is metal. And I'd say that's another plus of this reel. All in all, this is an incredibly impressive reel for $12. And I think if you are brand new to the sport of fly fishing and you don't have a lot of money to spend, or somebody invited you on a trip and you really want to go and you don't want to show up with nothing in your hands, you could do a lot worse than buying this. Or if you're a more experienced angler on a budget, you could buy this and plow all of your budget into a rod and a line that you'll get a lot more benefit out of for a lot of freshwater fishing. Even the least expensive reels from Redington and Echo still cost 3-4 times as much as this reel does. So that's almost like a built-in warranty in itself, because you can just buy 4 of them and they'll, at least theoretically, last somewhat longer. Of course, I'd love to hand this to a guide and let him fish it for 20, 30 days and give it back and see how it performed. And maybe I will. Maybe we'll do an update video on this. But overall, this is an interesting and really, really accessible reel for someone who's trying to get into the sport. And while I don't necessarily recommend it, I can't say don't get it. It's just an okay reel at the absolute bottom price. Let us know what you think about the QCWWY reel and give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more content like this. If content that is focused on a budget is something you'd like to see, let us know. Leave a comment. And of course, you can buy this on Amazon because we don't sell it. I'm Ben. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.